Being highly intelligent sounds like an advantage. People assume you think faster, solve problems easily, and have life figured out. But here's the part no one mentions. A lot of what looks like high IQ is actually high mental awareness. You don't just think more, you notice more. Patterns, inconsistencies, emotional shifts. And while that helps you understand the world better, it also makes your mind harder to switch off. Psychology shows that highly intelligent people don't struggle because they lack answers. They struggle because their brains never stop analyzing. Today, we're breaking down 10 mental struggles only highly intelligent people experience, and why what feels like a weakness might actually be a misunderstood strength. Struggle number 1. Your brain won't turn off. You don't just think, you keep thinking. A conversation ends, but your mind replays it. A decision is made, but your brain keeps testing different outcomes. Even when everything seems fine, your thoughts stay active in the background. While other people move on, you're still analyzing words, tone, timing, and what might have been meant. Not because you're insecure, but because your brain is constantly searching for patterns. Your mind treats uncertainty like an unfinished task. So instead of resting, it keeps scanning, optimizing, and checking for better answers. This is why quiet moments aren't always peaceful for you. Silence doesn't slow your thoughts, it gives them more space to run. In psychology, this is often linked to analysis paralysis. When too much thinking turns even simple decisions into mental effort. You're not stuck because you lack intelligence. You feel stuck because your brain doesn't know when to stop working. Struggle number 2, you struggle to connect with people. You don't struggle with people. You struggle with surface-level connection. Small talk feels repetitive. Conversations that go nowhere drain you faster than silence. While others enjoy casual chats, your mind looks for depth, meaning, and substance. You want to talk about ideas, patterns, motivations, not just fill space with words. This often makes you feel out of sync, not because you think you're better than others, but because your brain operates on a different frequency. You may feel misunderstood in groups, or strangely lonely even when surrounded by people. In psychology, this is linked to cognitive mismatch. When your way of processing the world doesn't align with the environment around you. You're not antisocial. You just connect best when conversations actually stimulate your mind. Struggle number 3, you notice everything. You're not just aware of what people say. You notice how they say it. Tone changes, facial expressions, small shifts in energy that most people miss completely. Your brain constantly picks up on patterns, inconsistencies, and emotional signals in the room. While others take things at face value, you read between the lines. This level of awareness can be incredibly useful. But it also means you're exposed to more negativity, tension, and unspoken conflict. You notice dishonesty before it's obvious. You sense manipulation before it's proven. And that constant alertness can become mentally exhausting. In psychology, this heightened perception is often linked to hyperawareness. When your mind stays on high alert, even in calm situations, you're not imagining things. You're just processing more information than most people around you. Struggle number 4. You feel constant pressure to perform. People expect more from you, sometimes without even saying it. Because you're seen as intelligent, there's an unspoken rule. You're supposed to get it right every time. A small mistake doesn't feel small. It feels like proof that you failed an expectation you never agreed to. This creates a constant pressure to perform, improve, and stay ahead. Not because you're competitive, but because you don't want to disappoint yourself or others. Over time, that pressure turns into anxiety. You start questioning your abilities, even when you're doing well. In psychology, this is closely linked to imposter syndrome. The feeling that your success is fragile and could be taken away at any moment. You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of being exposed for not meeting a standard that was placed on you. Struggle number 5, you get bored easily. Your brain craves stimulation. Not noise, challenge. Routine tasks feel endless. You start them motivated, and 5 minutes later, your brain is already looking for an exit. Repetitive conversations lose your attention fast. You're nodding, smiling, but mentally, you've already left the room. This doesn't mean you're lazy or unmotivated. It means your mind needs complexity to stay awake. When things feel predictable, your energy drops. You procrastinate. You suddenly remember something else you need to do. Anything to escape boredom. In psychology, this is linked to low stimulation tolerance. Highly intelligent minds need novelty or problem-solving to stay engaged. That's why you work best under pressure, or become productive the moment something finally feels interesting. You're not avoiding responsibility. Your brain is just refusing to be bored. Struggle number 6. You struggle with perfectionism. You don't aim high. You aim too high. Your standards aren't just ambitious. They're often impossible. Before you start, you already see how it could be better. So you delay. You tweak. You wait for the right moment. Not because you're unsure, but because you can already see the gap between good and perfect. In psychology, this is called maladaptive perfectionism. When your standards stop motivating you and start blocking action. You're not afraid of doing things wrong. You're afraid of knowing how good it could have been. That's why unfinished projects bother you so much. They're not failures. They're reminders of unrealized potential. You don't need lower standards. You need permission to move forward before everything feels perfect. Struggle number 7. You question everything. You don't take things at face value. You question ideas, systems, traditions, and even your own thoughts. When someone says that's just how it is, your mind immediately asks why. You analyze beliefs instead of absorbing them. You look for logic behind rules. You want meaning, not just acceptance. This curiosity fuels insight and innovation. But it can also make you feel out of place. While others feel comfortable with simple answers, you feel uneasy when things don't fully make sense. In psychology, this tendency is linked to critical thinking orientation, the habit of constantly evaluating information instead of passively accepting it. You're not trying to be difficult. Your mind just isn't built to shut off curiosity for the sake of comfort. Sometimes understanding more means belonging less. Struggle number 8. You feel emotionally heavy. You don't just understand people. You feel them. You pick up on emotional shifts, unspoken tension, and pain that others barely notice. Sometimes before the person even realizes it themselves. This makes you deeply empathetic, but it also means you carry emotional weight that isn't yours. You listen. You absorb. You process emotions that were never meant to stay with you. In psychology, this is often linked to emotional contagion, when you internalize the feelings of others without realizing it. That's why certain conversations leave you drained, why some environments feel heavy for no clear reason. You're not overly sensitive. You're emotionally perceptive. But without boundaries, that awareness can become exhausting, turning empathy into emotional overload. Struggle number 9. You feel out of sync with the world. A lot of the time, it feels like you're moving at a different pace. You think ahead. You anticipate outcomes. You process things before others even notice there's something to process. So when people take longer to understand, decide, or react, you feel slightly disconnected, like you're always one step ahead or behind. This doesn't make you impatient. It makes you out of sync. You may feel frustrated in slow environments, or strangely uncomfortable in systems that don't reward thinking ahead. In psychology, this is often linked to asynchronous processing. When your internal speed doesn't match the external rhythm around you, you're not rushing life. Your mind just runs on a different timeline. Struggle number 10. You feel responsible for fixing everything. When you see a problem, you can't unsee it. Your mind automatically looks for solutions. Not just for yourself, but for people, situations, systems. You notice what's broken, what could work better, what no one else seems to be addressing. Over time, this creates a silent sense of responsibility, as if noticing the problem means it's now yours to solve. In psychology, this is linked to over-responsibility bias, the belief that awareness equals obligation. You're not controlling. You're responsive. But not every problem you see is yours to fix. And learning that boundary is often the hardest struggle of all. Being highly intelligent isn't about having all the answers. It's about noticing more than most people do. What feels like too much thinking is often high awareness. And without balance, that awareness can become exhausting. The goal isn't to change your mind. It's to learn when to give it rest. You don't need to fix everything you notice. And you don't need to carry every problem you understand. If this video felt personal, subscribe to Mind Clues for more insights like this.